Vice President JD Vance just arrived in Israel in an effort to strengthen the ceasefire deal. Vance is joining the president's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner there. The visit comes after Israel accused Hamas of violating the deal and launched attacks in Gaza over the weekend. Now the Hamas-run health ministry says IDF strikes killed 13 Palestinians over the last 24 hours. ABC News foreign correspondent Tom Soufi Burridge is in Tel Aviv with the latest. So, Tom, what does Vance's presence there say about the level of concern over this ceasefire right now?
Yeah, Diane, we know from U.S. officials that the vice president is huddling with Witkoff and Kushner at a working lunch after his arrival, presumably swapping notes because Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. And clearly the U.S. is putting lots of pressure on all sides, including the Israeli government, to try and hold this peace deal together, but also work out the next steps, trying to advance this deal. Because, look, remember, on the ground in Gaza right now, Hamas once again looks like the dominant military force in the western part of the Gaza Strip from which IDF troops have withdrawn. And remember, on Sunday, for about 12 hours, this ceasefire all but collapsed. It's back on now, but Hamas is still saying it won't disarm. President Trump is threatening to force Hamas to disarm, but it's not clear how the US would be willing to do that. Therefore, they'd rely on the IDF, and that would mean the IDF restarting the war. And Israeli officials are actually threatening to do that if Hamas doesn't disarm. And that would be the collapse of the peace agreement, which the US does not want. So it looks very difficult how to advance in this. One very interesting development that's also happened this morning is we've learned that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has met with the head of Egyptian intelligence, who has been in Jerusalem. That's a rare and significant meeting. The Egyptians were mediators in the negotiations, so they're a key Arab partner in the what next in Gaza, but it's not straightforward. There's lots of complexity, and getting past that really key obstacle of how Hamas would disarm and whether it's willing to do so is just not clear.
Meanwhile, Tom, the Israeli Prime Minister's office says a coffin transferred from Hamas is now in Israeli custody. What's the latest there?
Yeah, that was the body of Tal Haimi. It's been confirmed, Diane, by Israeli officials that that dead body was belonging to Tal Haimi. He's a hostage, Israeli hostage, deceased, an Israeli who was killed down in his kibbutz, effectively on October the 7th, 2023. So it means now that 13 bodies of deceased hostages have been returned to Israel, but that now leaves 15 unaccounted for. So in that sense, there is some progress on that key issue because, of course, one part of the first phase of the deal was that all hostages be returned to Israel, not just the living, the 20 we saw more than a week ago being released amid all that euphoria. But now that the euphoria has died down, the cold, hard reality, not only returning all the bodies of deceased hostages, but trying to get a solution about what comes next in Gaza that would be acceptable to Hamas and the Palestinians at large, but also the Israelis.
All right, Tom Soufi Burridge in Tel Aviv, thank you.